we start our session off, we started off with a prayer. This kind of like brings it all together, puts us in a collective space. And because consent matters, do I have your permission to say a prayer? May I touch you? Okay, inhale. Exhale, breathe in here, okay? Relax. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information for our highest good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am, Ashe. 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 Okay, let that just wash over you. So, what we're working on today is body image issues. And so, what's happening here on an energetic level is a hyper focus on the external, because there's a disconnect with being able to be on the internal. And what I mean by that on an energetic level is that inside everything is as it needs to be. We're going to have a conversation about actual health, but on the inside everything is as it needs to be. But as we go through life, we start or stop connecting with ourselves on an internal level. When you're a little kid, before you're exposed to images or understandings of what you should look like, you're just enjoying life. You're just experiencing life. You just want to do the things that you feel like are fun and interesting, and then you want other people to watch you to do it too. Watch me go down this slide, blah, 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 blase, blase. And that's when we're connected. But when life starts to happen, and especially if we're surrounded by people who did not get a chance to have a soul evolution or their energy to evolve, we start to pick up some pretty tough habits and understanding, especially when it's being reinforced in society. And that is kind of the top thing, which is our presentation. If we look in astrology, this would be considered our first house or our rising sign or our ascendant. They all mean the same thing. So if you want to know more about your connectedness to how you want to be seen or how people see you when they first meet you, definitely check out or look up your ascendant, your rising, your first house. It's all the same thing. And you find that out by knowing the time that you were born. Okay. So said all that. When life starts to happen and we don't feel in control, okay? And the internal part of us, inside of us, really doesn't know what to do, doesn't know how to understand that you could be happy, but not be the image of something that's being projected in front of you. And at some point, it starts bumping heads. At first in life, we're okay. At first we're like, oh yeah, we can coexist. But then as you go through different experiences, like you go through puberty, you go through becoming an adult, you go through the next stages, you go through motherhood or parenthood, you go through whatever is the next, over and over and over and over again. There is this feeling of, whoa, what is or who am I? And the quickest way to try to find who you are, or I think how we see it as a society, is how we present on the outside. And so when we're presenting on the outside, what are we going to do? We'll most likely look for references around us, our society, our upbringing, influences that surrounded us. So during that, or during those moments, we start to carve and connect together. Oh, those who look this way, or those who appear in this kind of form, those are the ones who have it figured out. Those are the ones who are happy. Those, insert whatever it is that you want to insert in that 100% is the essence of perfection here. But that takes time, you know. Sometimes when people are longing, especially the younger you are, when you're longing to be in community, you're longing to be in collective, those can be the environments in which reinforce kind of these image issue situations, and of course family upbringing and things like that. But when you're not afraid to walk the path alone and say, look, I'm ready to enjoy life, okay? And I know I look good. You got, sometimes you just gotta get up. Sometimes I'll be like, I know I look good, you know, so I'm not about to let anybody outside of me tell me about me. You tell you about you. I'm gonna tell me about me. Having that energy and bringing that into the space, that will work on an energetic level to start to heal what's going on. But a lot of these things can be deeply rooted inside the energy, the psyche, the mind, the belief systems, our networks all around us. And so it takes someone who is very courageous to say, look, by any means necessary, I'm going to break this. And in order to break this, you typically will probably look not like whatever that social norm was. And there is this place of peace and this place of love. And you will bring people in who love and support you and just admire the energy that you have as you are without having to look or fit in a certain way. In short, it's kind of like this feeling of I don't feel in control internally. I don't feel like I'm able to do what it is that I want to do. But I do believe that someone who appears in this way should have control. And if I put myself like that, I present myself in that kind of way, I should have control. But the construct of this person typically, or this image typically, is unrealistic standards, unrealistic expectations. Like, it's just like genetically doesn't make sense at all. Now, I want to take like a quick detour here to talk about my favorite topic, nutrition, and talk about how body image and things show up on a health level, specifically on an internalized health level. So sometimes people may be struggling with wanting to look a certain way or be a certain size, and the focus may be on the outside looking this way, needing to change, when the focus is and should be, how is your health? Is your health where it needs to be? That's not necessarily, it doesn't start on the outside, it starts on the inside. When you're going to your doctor, are you getting routine blood work? What are your levels looking like? Do you have any deficiencies? Do you have anything like any kind of excess of toxins or chemicals that are in your body? Because sometimes those situations, I've been going on a rant about this for a good month, having deficiencies in micronutrients like vitamin D or magnesium or zinc or iodine or the B vitamins, you know, things like that, they can cause anxiety, they can cause depression. Our body is this kind of perfect balancing, you know, act. In our brain wants to stay at this state called homeostasis, right? That means that everything's working resting size is, whatever that natural resting size is for you. Also, the quality of food. Some people will try to literally eat less when the solution is eating more nutrient rich foods. And you can eat more of that. Eating very rich, green, leafy foods, having a nice balance of bringing in those proteins and the carbohydrates that also have fiber in it, and also making sure you're supplementing for any micronutrient deficiencies you have. Let me take it on further, like when I was talking about with anxiety and depression and things like that, can also be linked to chronic vitamin D, a low amount of vitamin D in the body. So as people are being treated with other drugs, it is okay also to add in nutrition. It might help the body get to where it needs to go. I'm not saying that there is a one size fits all for everyone, but the most important part is we have to change the mindset. It is not how you present, it's how the blood work looks, it's how it's on the inside, it's how you're feeling. Because here's what happens: you can have someone who looks, socially fine, but they can have a lot of stuff going on inside. And because we live in a society that reinforces that looking a certain way means healthy, they might have some things going on and they might not seek treatment because they may not look the way that one would assume someone should look. Healthy doesn't have a look. Healthy doesn't have a one presentation. It is individualized for each person, and everybody is on different legs of their journey. It's so much more dynamic. So when we start to educate ourselves and understand how the body actually works, we stop reducing it down to just needing to look physically a certain way. Health is about making sure this body, this temple that we have, we're taking the best care of it and what is accessible to us and what is best for our individual body type. Now, when you remove all the social stigma and all the stuff that really doesn't make sense, you start to have a freedom to just allow your body to be whatever it needs to be. You can, if you want to aesthetically change it into whatever you want it to change it to, that's your business. But the core of everything is, how is your health? Let's focus on that internally. And if anybody tries to challenge or question that, push back with logic, push back with actual health things, because a lot of people are living in a la fantasy world in which they want to impose what they think you should be. That ain't got nothing to do with you. This body you're in now is enough. This body you're in now is beautiful. This body you're in now can be balanced as best it can. And if you're lucky enough to have access to money and health insurance and great practitioners, you can work with them to be a captain in your overall health in general. But that means you have to lean into that. And when you do that, you start feeling like a baddie all the time. I'm telling you, you start feeling like a baddie. Like you just do. You just do when you realize that this energy that you have now, this body you have now, is literally perfect the way it is. And if you want to make changes, you can make changes to the micronutrient issues and things like that. And that's how you lead. When your body is able to regulate itself appropriately, and of course you get physical activity to kind of keep everything circulating the way that it is. You get to choose what that activity is. You don't have to do the most. The body will regulate what is natural for itself. You don't have to do kind of this toxic diet culture that's kind of being presented like nutrition. It doesn't have to be this is what we prize as beautiful. this was really near and dear to my heart because I feel like we spend a lot of time projecting outside in many kinds of ways, but you get to have the power to decide how you feel about yourself. Who cares how other people, think about you? And all you need to focus on is, are you happy? Are you giving yourself permission to just be alive and in this moment? And if you're lucky enough to have access to medical care and things like that, focusing on things that actually really matter, like your blood work or things that are going on your regulatory systems, those are the things that really matter. And when you lead with that, the body just regulates itself, and also loving whatever that regulated look looks like. Well, babies, if no one has said it to you, let me go ahead and say it. I love you, but love yourself. That's the only thing that's important. If you heard anything I said today,